Does anyone have used Ansible enough to shed some light on, what types of things you would definitely use Ansible for versus Terraform? Context, cloud, not on-prem.
I mean, yeah, like it's easy to find, broad statements about, Ansible is about configuration management and Terraform is about states and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I find those not that helpful because, if I'm trying to figure out, okay, what situations, will Ansible be better? Because a lot of tasks you can do in both, right? But which one is actually better, right? What concrete examples can you give me where if I try to do the same thing in Terraform, it'll be more work or more, less robust or whatever.
Yeah.
And, beyond the obvious of, okay, so if I have to set up an EC2 instance, probably Ansible makes sense. But beyond that, is that the only thing that people end up using Ansible for anymore? Maybe,
Yeah, for example,
Terraform, I don't know.
Yeah, for example, should you provision all your apps with Ansible on your Kubernetes cluster, even though you're using Terraform to provision the cluster or something? And I guess a little bit comes down to if the company is already an Ansible shop and has very strong prowess as it relates to the tool. But if not, then I would probably start moving on and looking towards what the ecosystem is gravitating towards. And I don't see Ansible picking, well, okay, in my echo chamber, I don't see Ansible, Chef, Puppet picking up steam.
Yeah, I saw an interesting video. I can't remember the guy's name there. One of the guys who makes quite a few DevOps videos on YouTube, but maybe Vlad something. He's quite funny, and he was going on about how basically, Ansible, Puppet, and Chef, they're all dead.
I wonder if is it our very own Vlad on here? Sounds like something
I don't know.
Red Hat wants a word with you back behind the woodshed. My answer was going to be, if you're working with Red Hat, you're probably using Ansible a lot.
Yeah.
I can firmly say that Vlad is not me.
Okay.
No, I still see Ansible, Chef, Puppet used for AMI building.
Okay, fair.
With Packer. It works great. And I'm not only seeing that in things like immutable infrastructure, but I'm increasingly seeing that in the Kubernetes world where, hey, we want to build our custom AMI based on the AWS official AMI, for example, but we also want to pre-cache this really chunky 10 gigs images on the nodes because they're really annoying and they absolutely destroy our node provisioning time and things like that. So they're still used, but only for node provisioning. That is too complex to be done in user data. And that's it. I don't think people should be using EC2s anymore. That's too strong of a sentence. I think Fargate is well on its way to outshine and deprecate EC2s. So the need for tools like Ansible, Puppet, and Chef should be minimized.
Interesting.
I goes on to say, I don't think that if you're not using Ansible today and you wanted to build AMIs, you don't have to start introducing it. But if you have a large competency around building EC2 images and have Ansible already, sure. I mean, it's probably just a slightly more elegant way of doing it together with Packer or some of these other tools, but not necessary to learn otherwise.
A related question or comment
about
Ansible. In general, have people seen that there's some, like if you have a large legacy code base that's Ansible, have people had difficulty or found interesting solutions in how to run that, for instance, or marry it with, AWS SSM, things like that, where you're translating your Ansible module into documents in SSM, things like that?
Well, what I like about that is it kind of marries some of the IAM capabilities that you get running with SSM with the provisioning aspects of Ansible.
Yeah. It does turn out that it's relatively easy to run, SSH over SSM, but you lose some of the multiplexing capabilities. So Ansible tends to run a little bit slower. But that part at least has worked out relatively well when it comes to using the AWS SSM scheduler though, to get tasks done. I find that it's often quite slow and sometimes doesn't do a great job of returning messages from the hosts that you run against.
Last use case I've seen Ansible being used is also for setting up for provisioning local workstations for developer environments. Now, I still kind of like the idea of using more containers for that, but I have seen people using Ansible for setting up workstations.